Hi and good evening and welcome to THFC Till I Die Home of Tottenham Past, Present and an exciting future under Ange Postecoglou. Yeah, tonight we're talking about is the new European format, the Super League in all but name. We all watched the Champions League draw today. We're going to have a talk a bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the draw last night and who we got. And joining me tonight, of course, is Philip, who's back every Thursday. How are you tonight, Philip? I know you're a bit knackered from driving across the country the last couple of days, but it's nice to have you with us. And
Yeah, thanks.
we've got a bit to talk about tonight.
Yeah, it's I didn't watch all the draw today now, but I watched some of it. But I have a few concerns over it. But overall, I think I like the look of the format, the way it's going to work out. But how they got the draw done is a little bit. I don't know what word to use there. Just a little bit suspicious, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, if you can hit a like button, hit subscription. We have dropped a few in the last couple of days. So look, come on, guys, let's get back up there again. We do work awful hard to put these contents out for you. We do make a lot of sacrifices for you guys as well. I know there's a lot of the usual people are around, but do hit the like button. Do hit the subscription. You can now pick up your channel memberships as well, guys. As well, don't forget that. And also, if you can put in the super chat, it does help us grow. And you dictate where you want us to go with shows. It's down to you guys. If you've got a question you want me and Philip to ask, put it in as a super chat. Get ahead of the curve, and we will work it out. I mean, look, let's start on it, Philip. Look, we saw the draw today. I was still very confused by all of it. There was Ronaldo hitting the button and the computer doing its business.
Yeah.
What did you think of what's your look? First question ready for you, Philip. What do you think of the new format?
Well, I like the way the way it's formatted. In some way, the top 8 teams go through immediately, right? The teams 9th to 24th, I think, to have a 2-legged playoff to make up the top 16, really, and then it goes into knockout, which I think is good. The way, I suppose, as you said before the show, Dermot, if they'd done the draw manually today, it'd still be going on.
Yeah.
You know, because it would just take hours. But I just find it so funny, like as if they expect people to believe that when Ronaldo pushed the button, those fixes magically appeared. They were pre-done days ago, whenever. So from that point of view, it's a little bit suspicious. Some of the teams will be glad, but we'll look at the draw and say, yeah, I'm okay with that. Paris Saint-Germain certainly won't. I'm looking at the Celtic, Arsenal, and Villa. Villa, Bayern Munich, Leipzig, Juventus. That's tough from them. Then they've got Bruges, Celtic, Young Boys, Bologna, Monaco. Not so tough. Had the occasion for agent Brian Hill to sabotage Arsenal's thing. The last game is against Girona. So I mean, it's potentially it's a good system. But just how they arrived at those fixtures is a little bit, to me, I prefer to see the ball coming out of the hat or the ball.
I mean, look, let's see who's in chat. We've got a few people in joining us now, Philip. We've got Stephen Cartwright. Good evening, lads. All very suspicious. He agrees with you. Big up to Stephen, who's a member as well. So big up, Stephen. And also DJ Samuel as well. Big up, DJ. Thank you for joining. He says, "Coys." And don't worry, we got all our shows up now between now and Monday, guys. So you know what's coming up. We got a load of stuff coming up as well. Tomorrow, me and Philip and Boris are going to be covering that. Maybe Tequila as well, but covering the Europa League draw. Then we've got deadline day tomorrow night at 7 to the close of window. Just very quickly, Philip, on the transfer side of it, I'm beginning to feel a little bit underwhelmed by it all now. Somebody asked me to describe our incomings, and in one word, and I was finding it very hard to find a word, Philip, how to describe it. The outgoings has been brilliant, but I described the incomings awful because Archie Gray and Bergville, they're great signings, and Solanke yet to be proven. But when you see that Juventus player going to Liverpool for 10 million, or
because he didn't want to come to Tottenham, that's why he didn't want to talk to Tottenham.
But what's got me, we should be in for these players. We should be banging down their doors, and I'm a bit worried that we're going to be left a bit light if we get a few injuries. I mean, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but are we going to be struggling? What can happen between now and 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Philip? You know that as well as I do. But if you could describe our incomings in one word, how would you describe it? It's very hard.
Not really. I mean, awful, Dermot, is an awful. That's a terrible word to use for it. You're more or less saying that Bergvall's not as an awful player. I think the players we've bought have been very good buys.
No, it's not the players I'm on about. I'm on about the way we've gone about the way.
No, I don't care how we've gone about it. It's the players that end up coming to us is the only important bit. How we've gone about it is completely immaterial, really. It's who we've got in is the important thing. We've strengthened in some positions. We haven't strengthened in others that we should have done, right? But I certainly wouldn't call it awful. I would say it's a relatively moderately successful transfer window. Outgoings, as you say, absolutely spot on. But we've got some exciting young players there who have come in. Archie Gray is a really good prospect. Bergvall, as we know, is a very good prospect.
I'm pleased with them players. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel
but you describe the incomings as awful. So you've got to attach to the players you describe as awful.
It was very hard to describe. It was at half or 12 o'clock last night, Philip, when somebody asked me the question. So my brain probably wasn't working fully at full tilt. I was tired. So it's probably poor, but not even poor. See, you've got these good youngsters coming in. But do you feel, Philip, before we get on to the Super League, do you feel that we've missed an opportunity because of other clubs struggling and us really having the potential to push the boat out a little bit? Have we missed the trick?
No, because the window's not over yet for a start. I never believed till 11 o'clock tomorrow night, if we haven't signed anybody, fair enough. If we have signed anybody, what we're saying tonight might look pretty foolish. What I'm saying is, hark back to last season, Dermot. You were the one sort of say, bring on the kids, bring in the young lads.
Yeah.
It's 1993 Manchester United, right?
Yeah.
Now we've done that. We've brought in young players, and you're more or less saying you don't think they're strong enough.
You're not picking it. Why I say it was awful.
You're saying that we should have bought more. We should have bought more players, possibly. Yes, but do you know something? I'm going to be completely against the run of play here and say I'm happy with the players we've got. A lot of people.
See, that's what I love about football. Opinions differ.
Yeah, I think we've been too hard on the club for what they've done.
Look. It's like I really respect your opinion. I know you respect mine, and I know we don't agree on some things, but we can talk about this. And what I love about this channel and us, we can never fall out over it.
Well,
do you know what I mean? You and me could have the toughest discussion going, and we may have a really good discussion and a deep discussion and a heated discussion. But it's not going to break our friendship. We're not going to fall out over it. Do you know what I mean? And,
I know.
And I think as a channel, I think that's what makes us special, different from every other channel, because we can have these debates without falling out over it.
Yeah, but you've got to look at things realistically. Like, I work in the financial world, right? I know where the restraints have to be. There has to be restraints financially to keep in FFP and stuff like that, right? Okay, Daniel Levy has got a reputation for being tight with transfer money, which is fair enough. If he wants, that's the way he is. We're not going to change him. So, but people seem to think we go out every transfer window and we buy X, Y, Z players, and regardless of what it's going to cost and what the financial implications are for the club in the future. I have no doubt we have tried to buy more players than we've got in. Now, the Chiesa guy didn't want to come to Tottenham. If that's the case, I don't want him. Let him go to Liverpool and sit on the bench. I got
something from our source the other day before we did a show, and I'll read out what he said. Where is it now? I will find it. This is what was sent to me. Daniel Levy pulled the plug on the Gimenez deal and Jonathan David deal. He was the one who decided against Tony and presented Solanke as an alternative to Ange. He would like a player like Sancho at the club. Now, this is Ange. Ange would like Sancho, and I think Sancho is a very good player, in my view. Given the right circumstances, I think Sancho could do a job for you at the club. But he's unwilling at this moment to meet the price demands. Also, he thinks 50 million for, what's his name? Is it Ketiye?
Chiesa.
Chiesa. I can never get his name right.
Yeah, but he's gone to Liverpool, which I think is a big mistake for him because he's not going to get game time there.
No, he's not. He also thinks Chiesa is too much and will offer around 10 million, which he did go to Liverpool for 10 million with sales or outgoes. He has damaged a lot of potential of those that Ange could have made, regardless of what Ange has come out and said. Solanke was not his number one target; it was Tony or David. That's the bit that I think upset me, that we could have got. There was players there we could have got. Do you, and this goes into the Super League as well, Philip, does financial play too much in football these days?
Champions League, or what you want to call it, that plays a big thing as well.
Yeah.
Certain players wouldn't want to come to Tottenham until we're in the Champions League. If we were in the Champions League, I guarantee we would have signed at least 2 more players.
Yeah, that's the
but
point.
We're not in the Champions League. What we need to achieve is we need to get into the Champions League this season coming, right? With the players that we've got, or maybe still might sign. I'm not subscribing to that we're dead in the water yet. I still think
I'm not either. I think we will win a trophy this year.
We've strengthened the side on last season. We have strengthened, in my opinion. We brought in exciting young midfielders. We've got Odegaard who can fly down that wing as a winger.
Now, can I just say, he's a player I'm really excited over. I'm really excited over him.
And look, defensively, we've got 2 of the, or maybe if you class Dragusin as well, we've got 3 of the best centre backs in the country. Okay, we might be a little bit stretched at left back. I admit that. We should maybe have brought another left back in. But barring injury, if we're lucky with injuries, right, I don't see any reason to be pessimistic about this season, really.
No. And we have got a show on Monday, me and Philip are doing, is top 4. It's around top 4 in the cups, isn't it? Do clubs that got top 4 more than winning trophies? It's an interesting thing we've got coming up. I want to say big up to David Shear. He's gifted 1 membership, Philip. So big up to David. Thank you. David. And who's got that? DJ Samuel's got that membership. So DJ, he always said thank you, Cobber. And also David's been a member for 8 months as well. So big up to you, David. Let's see what he said. Has he said anything to that? No, he hasn't. He's member as a bronze membership, so big up to you. Let's see who else is in. People are coming in now, Philip. They must know that the two top Irish Spurs fans are on. By the way, I did last night. I said we're after David's number 1 crown, by the way. I want us to be the number 1 Irish Spurs channel. So I said Redstrom are coming after him. Gerard O'Connor, surely, Dermo, you ain't shocked about the transfer. We'll see what happens. Good evening, everyone. Big up Simply Ace. I did say last week, Dermo, it was great accountancy once again by Mr. Levy.
Again, let's wait with 25 hours to go, 26 hours to go.
Can I say, I read on X, Brian Daigle praising the club for the outgoings.
Oh my God.
Fair play to him, though. Fair play to him.
I mean, we've got rid of nearly everybody that wanted to go, almost. I see there's a couple of lads gone today as well. One of the young lads, what's his name?
But Lancashire staying, isn't he?
Lancashire staying. Lancashire, to me, if we don't get another striker, Will Lancashire has got it all, in my opinion.
He's a new Harry Kane in a way.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah,
and I think he'll be. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these young players will surprise a lot of people. I don't think they realise just how good our academy is at the moment. It really is producing some top class players.
And it was never that case, was it?
No, so few players back in the day came through the academy to Tottenham.
Yeah.
What they'll do is they stay at the academy till they're 19 or 20, then they'll be sold on to Notts County or Scunthorpe.
Yeah.
Probably never heard of again. Unfortunately, that happens to too many players.
Yeah. We've got Simply Ace. So don't see much strength in early youngsters who are not proven. Solanke will wait and see. Look, I think Burville's going to be the exception to that. I think Burville's already shown that he's got the talent to
Burville is fearless. He is fearless, that lad.
Archie Gray,
as if he's been there all his life.
Yeah, Archie Gray, I think, is going to be a player that will become a number 6 for us. Yeah. But I just like us to go out and get a Locatelli or somebody like that. We need experience in this side, Philip. I think we're lacking leaders.
maybe it still will go, you know.
Do you know? Do you think we're lacking leaders? Do you think we're lacking them a bit like in the 80s?
No,
You had 7 or 8 different players like a Graham Roberts or Paul Miller and players like that who could,
well,
or Dave
the
Mackay, who
leaders,
weren't captains.
the leaders that I see in this team are Vicario, right? I see him as a leader. I see Romero as a leader. I see Pedro Porro, who's very vocal. I see him as a leader. I see Van de Ven as a leader. And I see the likes of Bentancur and Archie Gray will become a leader. I think we've lots of leaders. I think it's been a bit maybe because we've maybe lacked a bit of steel maybe in the last few seasons. But I think those guys, the fact it was a masterstroke making Romero vice captain. Because if you look, he's calmed his excesses down a little bit since then.
I'd be honest with you, Philip. I think Porro's more of a leader than Romero.
I think Romero might does. Porro is very vocal and very loud the way he does things. Romero's a little bit more quiet and reserved and does it in his own way. But I think ultimately they're both good. They're both good leaders on the pitch.
I went to the Brighton game and I was behind the goals. Vicario never shuts up.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's always talking to his defence, and that's the way it should be. Hugo Lloris, in my opinion, did not do that half enough.
No, he didn't do it half enough. And my respect for Lloris went down when he walked off at half-time against that Newcastle game when he didn't come out.
Don't remind me.
Do you think there's any truth in the rumour that VDV is injured? Now, he has been training on his own, Philip, this week in the last few days. No, so I'm waiting for the press conference tomorrow.
If he's training, he's not injured. Because if he's injured,
but he's training with a specialist.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he did get a bad bend on his leg on Saturday. There's no doubt about it. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen. If he's injured, it'll be very unfortunate. He's missing Newcastle, but we have Dragusin to come in.
Yeah. We've done that. Gerard said the squad is still wafer thin. But you are testing the friendship and getting Phil Copper.
I don't think that squad is wafer thin. It's not wafer thin. It mightn't be as thick as we want it to be, but it's not wafer thin.
Can I just say I never said
bare bones in every position?
I don't think it's wafer thin, to be fair. No, I think we could have. I would love us to got another left back and probably another central midfielder.
I think if we got a left back and a kind of Locatelli type player tomorrow, then I think that would change a lot of people's opinion of the transfer window.
Yeah, it will. It's been very underwhelming.
Well,
it has been. The incomings have been underwhelming. The outgoings have been brilliant, but the incomings, you want that big name, don't you? You want that big.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Until we're in the Champions League, we're not going to get them. Let's be realistic about it.
See, for me, I think the name of the club should do that selling.
No, not this day. Not when you've got agents working to extract the most money for their client. They want Champions League. They want Champions League, and that's it. You know, most of them do. So, okay, some players might be ideas above their station. They're not even good enough to play in the Champions League. But you've got their agents blowing smoke up their ass, telling them the best things in sliced bread.
Yeah.
These guys want to play for the likes of Liverpool and Man United or Man City, you know?
Well, I know this Man City thing. Whereas this is the point. I was saying last night to the guys, I go through the chat, and this also goes with the Champions League as well. We've got Carl saying, if our transfer window is done, it's simply not good enough, in my opinion. If we're not going to replace Højbjerg, we should have kept him. I agree, we should have kept Højbjerg. I'm still scratching.
He was never going to stay.
I know. G'day, Carl. David, 9 out of 10 for outgoings, incoming 6 out of 10.
Would you not class Archie Gray as a potential replacement for Højbjerg? He can play that position, you know.
Do you know what? I would possibly, yes. I would think Basuma could do that role as well. I think as well, because he was very disciplined on Saturday.
Basuma's on the road to Damascus. He's trying to rehabilitate himself.
Yeah,
and if he keeps going like he did against Everton, that's more bring it on. But if he doesn't,
I do feel
the knives will be out again.
I do feel if we go 1-0 down, like we went 1-1 against Leicester, I felt our heads dropped. And I felt we need that player in there.
They did maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But you've got to remember, it's first game of the season. We then had the horrible injury to Bentancur, right? And if anything, that actually helped us because what happened then, the subs came on and we got control of the game again. It affected Leicester more than it affected us, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you feel though? I mean, we shouldn't. Do you feel? Say we concede a goal, Philip, right? Romero or Maddison as vice captain should be saying to the lads, look, don't worry, don't panic. We're going to win this because we're good enough to win this.
Yeah.
Do you feel? Yeah. Do you feel there's still that? Do you remember the documentary where they kept saying we're too nice? Mourinho was saying you have to be. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there have been Tottenham teams. There have been Tottenham teams in the past. Now, I'm going to pick out a particular period here. The mid-90s, the 90s when we finished 15th, 16th, 17th in the league. Yeah. We were far too soft then. That was the Aussie Ardiles 0-9-1 formation we were playing. Or 0-1-9, I should say.
I love Aussie. I love them times. I went to Tottenham once. We played Sheffield Wednesday. And everyone cheered when Ronnie Rosenthal came on because he scored 3 or 4 goals in the. Do you remember in the quarterfinal against Southampton, the FA Cup? And I just feel, Philip. You look back to the 80s, and I keep looking back to the 80s for some because this team reminds me of the 80s. There's a bit of Birkinshaw and there's a bit of Bill Nick about Ange, and it keeps reminding me back to that time where we weren't drinking violets by any way. We were a tough nut to crack. But you had players like Steve Perriman, Graham Roberts, Paul Miller.
That's true. That's true.
Ozzy Ardiles,
those guys wouldn't survive in the pressing game, I don't think, the way the referees have gone.
I just feel, Philip, when we go 1-0 down or we're not playing well, I just see our heads dropping. Where we shouldn't have to drop our heads.
Hold on, look at the number of times we were 1-0 down last season, and we kept coming back and winning matches.
Yeah,
we did it maybe 6 or 7 times last season.
Yeah,
so I don't agree. Our heads don't drop. I think it's the opposite. I think the players dig in and get stuck in when we go a goal down, because that's what happens. Look at the number of times. Look at Sheffield United, for example. We scored the winner in the 112th minute, whatever it was, 102nd minute. So they dug in there. They dug in against Luton. They dug in against a lot of teams this season. So I think, maybe in the past it might have happened, but I don't see it happening at the moment. I hope not. No. Let's face it, I don't want to go 1-0 down ever.
No, I know that. And we've got big games coming up. Philip, Newcastle is no easy game on Sunday, by the way.
I watched Newcastle last night against Nottingham Forest, and they're the luckiest team left in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah. Maybe we're a good time of playing them, actually, Newcastle.
They weren't good at all last night. They weren't good. No. They got through because the Nottingham Forest defenders, 2 of them, tried to put the ball, the penalty kicks into orbit. I'd say that they're circling Mars at the moment. They were so bad. Other than that, Forest would have won that game.
Yeah. Christopher saying goal, Servette 2, Chelsea 1, 3-2 in aggregate. Come on, Servette.
Yeah, if the game's over now, though, I think that's the final score.
Oh.
Yeah, it's finished. So Chelsea scraped through again.
Yeah. Carl says, Big Davis says here, Kessié, not Premier League proven. Odegaard is proven, he is proven, and he has played in the Premier League. So I suppose that's a good point. I'm just worried we're putting too much pressure on Bergville and Gray and Odegaard. Don't want us to destroy them. And that's a very good point as well. Are we putting too much pressure on the youngsters?
The thing is, Archie Gray's been through the cauldron of the Championship with Leeds, right? Yeah. Bergvall has a very good attitude. He's not going to be fazed by anything. Now, he's not going to be a starter every game, right? He's going to become. I'd say he'd come on about the hour mark to change a match if we need it. I really don't see that guy being fazed. I think he's got the right attitude and the right temperament to really make a go of it in the Premiership. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm not.
There's a Glenn Hoddle about him.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at him.
I've watched a lot of young Glenn Hoddle and a lot what he's doing then and what he's doing now. There's very much. Gerald said, Phil, if we put the lolly down, they would come. Money does speak.
No, some will, some won't. Some will.
We see Ivan Toney wants $250,000 a week.
Yeah,
he's only going to get exactly.
Not going to pay that. I mean, that's what I have to agree with Levy. Players come along with outlandish requests for money, and they're not worth half of it. And he's quite right to turn those guys down. Quite right.
But do you see? So, yeah, we'll get more into it tomorrow night. It's going to be fun tomorrow night. Ange has what he wanted, guys. He's been given the list after list, and the final say in all. One more window, then leave it. Then it is judgment time. Chris says if we play the high line versus Newcastle, we will get thrashed. I don't think so.
No,
I don't. If we played the high line against Newcastle, Newcastle won't be able to cope with us. I don't think. Carl is saying Newcastle haven't looked great so far this season. It would be a close game.
Yeah.
Simply A says, I think Romero needs to be captain. I actually been saying this for a while that I think he should be captain. I have said that. Don't get me wrong. Son is a great player and professional, but not captain, sadly. He's a captain for South Korea, but you look at the captains like Steve Perriman and Gary Mabbott and Ledley King. They're all vocal, but they led by example, but they were vocal as well. Was Danny Blanchflower vocal?
Yeah, he was, but no one could understand the word he was saying. His accent was
Alan Mullery, was he vocal when he was captain? Alan Mullery. Alan Mullery.
He was all right, but the fans didn't like Alan Mullery. Alan Mullery wasn't popular at Tottenham at all. For some reason, I don't know why, but he never really won the fans over.
No. Gary says, Derm, you've got to stop looking backwards. Rebuilds don't look to bygone eras. It's a new day, so speak. But I think you've got to. I think this is why I'm excited, because it reminds me of the Keith Birkinshaw. This Keith Birkinshaw thing. This is what is exciting me about it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's so much similarities to the Keith Birkinshaw's early '80s side to this side, with Ange's building. There is
well, that's how it is. I mean, this is what Ange's now. This is his third transfer window, right? I know January's not an ideal time to buy, but I think any holes that haven't been plugged this time will be plugged in January.
Yeah.
Then we can, at the end of this season, take a real hard look and see how things are going. But I'm positive. I think it's going to be a good season.
Yeah, and he says if we seriously want to win, he picks a very strong, but the fans say why not try the kids, etc. If he plays the kids
match. That's a Coventry game he's talking about.
Yeah.
I will put the full 11 out of that game.
I would
Look what happened last season against Fulham.
Yeah.
Listen, the Carabao Cup is a great chance of a trophy for Tottenham this season, so go strong. Coventry will be no dozers. They're not a bad side at all. I've seen them play this season. They're not bad at all. And tell you one thing, I have been waiting 27 years for revenge. 37 years.
I did say that last night.
1987, and I want it now.
I did say that last night. Jarrah said, if you finish in the European position, would you consider that failure? I said, if we won the Europa League and we finished 9th, that'd be a successful season for me.
Yeah. If we win a trophy and finish 5th, I would class that as a good season, because it's an improvement on what we've done in recent years.
Yeah. Well, it's something we haven't done since 2008. Now, the Super League, Philip, and this new Champions League draw.
Right.
Now, look, we both said it before we came on. We feel that this draw is open to corruption or up to fiddling. So
adjustment. That'd be another word to use.
So I want to start with this, Philip. Fans, when the Super League come out, fans all come out and protested against the Super League, Philip, right?
Yeah.
Is this new European format, as the title of the show goes, is the new European format the Super League in all but name? Yeah,
more or less. I mean, you've got all the teams you want to be in there, except Tottenham, of course. Really, they're moving it in the back door by default, stealthily moving it in. Now, and all that being said, I'm in favour of the new format. I think it's going to be more exciting, because the fact, that, let's face it, the group stages of the old Champions League, right? They were a bit pedestrian, a bit, maybe the last game there might be something riding on it, but it was only when the knockout stages came that you really started watching the Champions League. This time you've got to finish in the top 8 to be sure of going through. So that's going to put incentive on the players to maybe, and you have 2 extra matches as well, which brings extra revenue, which is always important. So I like the look of it, but I just wish a bit more transparency in the way they pick those teams tonight.
Yeah. Boris, he says he's shocked. Wait, Dermo's still alive, isn't dead, considering last night.
I couldn't find me knife. Sorry, couldn't find it.
Yeah. I forgot what I said last night. Dermot
Yeah,
has the luck
I
of the
don't even know what
Irish.
you said
Yeah.
because I was only
I
chancing
don't
my
know.
arm there.
I said a
knew
few
this was the
things.
comment was made, you know.
Yeah, I said a few things last night. I can't remember what I said. I can't remember
I'll
what
just
I said.
okay, I'll
5 minutes
play
ago.
them. I'll replay them back when I get a minute. Then I'll come
Yeah.
gunning for you, right?
Um,
Or shooting for
Carl
you,
says,
knifing for you,
letting
whatever.
Dermot get through deadline day first. Oh, that's what he's doing. So, look, how does it impact the future of European football, this now, Philip? Look, we all how does, if it is a Super League in all but name, how does that change European football then? Has the European football been changed for the better? Has it been changed for the worst? Or has it been changed to suit the big teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid, who are still the only two teams in the Super League thing? They've never resigned. It's still there. So, I mean, if they come up with another proposal, Philip, the only good thing I like about it is on every game will be free to air. You think you wait
I
for?
didn't know that. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's very good.
So,
how long is that going to last?
Well, exactly.
You'll see what will happen. This season will be so successful. You'll suddenly find they're all behind the paywall next year.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm looking at the Europa League tomorrow. The Europa. From looking at the teams that are in the Europa League, right? The Europa League this season is extremely strong. There are a lot of teams in there I'd rather weren't there, to be honest.
Yeah.
From the Tottenham point of view, you know. So I mean, I think what it's done is it's there are now, the fact that there are now 3 competitions when there used to be 2. That's diluting the quality. Like, I'm going to be controversial here, and I say they should scrap the conference. Right, scrap it, because you have 36 teams. You know how many teams in there? There's 36 in the Europa League. That's 72 teams, right, that are qualified for Europe. Add in the conference, you have nearly 100 teams.
Yeah,
right?
but
it's becoming too easy to qualify for Europe. You should make it a little bit harder, then the quality is better.
See, I don't agree, because the conference leagues are there for the teams that might never play in Europe, and the revenue for them will keep them going.
Fine. That's okay. But I'm just looking back. A lot of teams don't take the conference league seriously, and we are at fault there big time. We did not take that seriously at all.
Well, Mourinho didn't take it seriously.
Didn't give a shit about it, you know. So I know I'm just being a bit more. I know this view won't be shared by many people, but I just feel that there's too many games coming up. We've got 3 competitions on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. It's an overload. It's too many games, and I think it'll be quantity, not quality, if we keep adding the number of competitions to the roster. You know.
So, if you got rid of the Champions League, just say for example, right, the Super League comes around, so you get rid of all the 3 European competitions, and you just have the Super League.
Well, no, if the Super League came around, there wouldn't be 36 teams in it. That's for sure.
No, but that's not my point. Is, Philip, you saying get rid of the Conference League?
Yeah.
Then that's not helping the little teams. That I mean, there's Irish League of Ireland teams go in there and get money for that.
Yeah, I'm not denying that, but I'm saying if the Super League is formed, there'll be maybe 16 teams in it, right? Then you come along with another competition underneath the Super League, right? But still keep it with about maximum of 70 clubs or 72 clubs in competing in it. So other than that, it's an overkill. People will get bored with it. Too much football. They'll stop watching it, and it'll just die a natural death.
Are you in favour then of an overhaul of the European football altogether?
I think if the Champions League and the Europa League is enough, because that's all that was there up to 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but there was always 3 competitions since.
No, there's only 2.
No, there was a cup.
The conference was a brand new competition.
Yeah, but we had the Cup Winners' Cup, the Europa
Cup.
That's
years ago. That's gone years ago.
Yeah.
There used to be 3, but the Cup Winners' Cup was very specific. There was only 16 teams in it, maybe, or 18 teams in it.
So what about? So get rid of the Conference League, and then these little minnow teams can't get into the Europa League. Does that mean the bigger clubs get richer and the smaller clubs just start disappearing?
There's a lot of minnow. There's a lot of small. I know the Europa League is quite strong this year, but there are a lot of smaller teams in it. I mean, look at the Champions League. Brest are in it from France. Who ever heard of them up to this season? You know, the ambition should be for teams to get into Europe, right? But if the conference is not a low quality league. That'd be insulting. But you've got to have a degree of difficulty to get into Europe. It may be getting too easy to get into Europe now. You can get into Europe down to 7th or 8th place in the league. You know, the old Champions League, Dermot, the old Champions League before the European Cup, as it was known, you had to win the bloody title to get into it. There was no second or third place.
So
there was only one team in each country in it.
Yeah, so you're also saying with the expansion of the World Cup and the expansion of the European Championships, the expansion of the World Cup might help us qualify for a tournament. So are you saying that, right, you got the expansion of the World Cup coming up in 2026 and 2030, right?
Yeah.
You got also the expansion of the European Championships as well. So that helps smaller nations get into major tournaments. So if I'm walking along your sort of principle of scrapping the Conference League, then shouldn't the World Cup then go back to 24 teams then?
No, the World Cup and the Nations Cup, or whatever you want to call it, to me, I would leave that. I would leave them the way they are, or even expand them, because that does give a chance for countries, like a country to qualify for a World Cup or a European Championships is a huge thing. Whereas Dundee United qualifying for the Championship is great for 20,000 Dundee fans and nobody else. Do you know what I mean?
It's great for Scottish football.
Is probably more important.
Yeah, but it's great for Scottish football, though.
Yeah, maybe it is. But, like, you know, if you expand it, you leave the Conference League the way it is, they expand the World Cup and expand the European Championships, right? There's absolutely too many competitions, too many games. And the more, I used to love soccer when you see football, you might see one match a week and you look forward to it. Now we can watch it every night of the week and half the games aren't worth watching. I'm just feared that there'll be an overkill. People will get fed up with it. Too many matches.
Then we've got the Club World Cup then this summer. You got FIFA trying to dominate.
That's another one. I mean, that one I wouldn't. I'm not in favour of that World Cup, the World Club Championship at all.
They're doing it, Philip, because they want
to compete. I'm not going to stop it. I just feel like I think you've got to be a little bit more selective. And I mean, we all love football, right? But there's only so much you can watch in a week and still retain an interest, you know.
But the only reason FIFA are doing that is to compete UEFA with the Champions League, because they've expanded the Champions League, and the Champions League is the most lucrative competition for UEFA. Yeah. FIFA want to say, hang on a minute here, we're the big boys here. We're going to do this. So why don't we then strip the whole of European football and just go back to how it used to be? The FA Cup winners go into the Cup Winners' Cup. You finish third, you finish second, third, fourth, and fifth go into UEFA Cup, and the champions just go into the European Cup. Yeah. What was wrong with that?
That's more or less what I'm anticipating. Advertising on a different level, a different way of doing it. I'm just going to get rid of one of the competitions to keep the number of clubs in Europe down and keep the quality up. I know it's tough on small teams who might, you know, like a taste of Europe, but they never had it up to now, really. They've never had it. And, you know, I mean, I know I'm sounding harsh, but I mean, some of the clubs in the Conference League, you'll never hear, I'll probably never hear of them again, you know?
Well, no, I slightly disagree, because I think we need these smaller teams. We need them. I mean, they're. I mean, I love to watch a small team against a Barcelona or a minnow team against Juventus.
You won't see that. The nearest you're going to get to that is whoever Brest are playing this season in the Champions League. You know, other than that, you're going to get FC Reykjavik playing some team from Moldova, and that's hardly earth-shattering stuff. You know, I take your point. It's great to see an underdog playing a huge big team, but that's only going to happen in the Europa League to me, or the Champions League. Now, okay, make an exception. Chelsea, who regard themselves as a big team, I don't, will be a lot of teams will want to play Chelsea this season because they're the big draw now in the conference, you know. But I think I just feel that Brest versus Bayern Munich has an awful lot more of a you'd watch that game to see could there be an upset, but you're not going to watch a team in the conference because you've hardly heard of them before.
Yeah, Big up to Colin Cross. Evening, boys. How are you feeling about a fellow Irishman managing England?
it's Agent Carsley is in there to do a job.
Yeah, he is. We've got Gerard says, do you think it was right that the League of Ireland champions, the Irish FA champions and the Welsh champions were denied the right to be in the Champions League as they are champions? They should be in the Champions League. They should have a right to qualify.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I mean, okay, that's the case for those various FAs to get their act together and join up and insist that those teams get in. You know, it isn't fair. It is a bit elitism, right? That's happening. You know.
Football in the box said, if you're not good enough to be in Europe, so be it. It's too easy now.
That's more or less what I'm saying. Yeah.
Gary Beck says, Philip, don't you feel that the Conference League should win the Europa League narrative of online Spurs is grossly arrogant? A massive insight into Spurs fans. We should have won some crap. When we got into it, how many times we were seeing it's a Mickey Mouse Cup? It's this and that. Roma won it. West Ham won it. They're not calling it Mickey Mouse Cup.
Easy to win. I mean, I know. I mean, we really. I mean, I know. I'm giving out about the conference here. The year we were in it, it was a disgrace. It really was. It was embarrassing to go out to somewhere in Slovenia and get beaten by a team of part-timers. You know, I mean, that's one of the low points in my time supporting Tottenham. You know. Now, I don't quite get what's saying. I feel that we should win the Europa League narrative of online Spurs is grossly arrogant. Well, I mean, you know, all fans are going to say, "Oh, we're going to win the league." It's bluster. It's bravado. Every team's fans do it, you know. And let's face it, we say it long enough, we're going to be proved right some season. Hopefully, this one.
Yeah. Big up to Altel. Good evening, Dermot and Philip, all in the chat. Big up, Altel. Hope you're doing well. Football, if it's all cool, we'll go. It's all, and it is all about the money.
It is. That's it. It's all about money.
It's all about money. So you look at UEFA and you look at what they're trying to do, and you look at FIFA. They seem to be competing with one another. I don't think, in my opinion, I think this new format for me is wrong. I think it should go back to how it used to be.
Well, okay, I like the look of it, Dermot, but the fact none of us have seen it yet.
No.
So I think what we should do is hold fire on it until we see it in action to see what excitement or otherwise it generates. You know, it's a brave move to do it, but I think it's going to affect us because we're in the Europa League and it's more or less going to be the same format for that as well.
Here's my question to you then. The Europa League is an access to the Champions League. So if you win that, you qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah.
Then what should be the priority of Ange this season then? Because you know Daniel Levy's priority is top four at all cost. But if you've got two options to get into the Champions League, surely you should take the Europa League seriously because it is another option if you're not doing well in the league.
We have to take the Europa League seriously. We have to take it seriously. We're going to be one of the favourites to win it. We'll be one of the 5 or 6 teams that are expected to win it. And we've got to take it seriously. And if we don't take it seriously, I, for one, will be wholeheartedly disappointed. And if this is where Ange has to stand up and be counted here, he's got to say, right, lads, I picked the team. I'm picking a strong team for the Europa League. Like we didn't put out weakened teams in the Champions League. We did put out weakened teams in the Conference League. What way is this going to be? I think we've got to go strong in the Europa League, and we've got and blood the younger players. Okay, there's going to be games. We're going to get drawn against some of the weaker teams. Okay, at home, maybe you can bring in a few of the young players, but for the teams from the top 2 levels, we've got to play the strongest team.
Yeah, I like that. Chelsea just got beaten by the Plumbers, which is really funny.
Yeah, they beat Wolves 6-2 and got beaten by Servette. That's confidence for you.
So how the financial incentives of a new format might compare to the Super League's revenue sharing model? So if you look at the Super League, it was the money was out of this world, and I did do it yesterday. This is for the Europa League. I did bring it up how much. Here we go. This one I'll bring it up again. How much you get. Sorry, I will bring it up. Right, clubs who qualify for knockout playoffs will receive €300,000, with around 1.75 for euro reaching the last 16. That sum increases to 2.5 million for the quarterfinals and 4.2 for advancing to the semis. Europa League finalists will earn €7 million each, with an additional 6 million for the winners. And then you could probably quadruple that for the Champions League.
I was going to say that's buttons compared to what the Champions League gets.
And you can probably lessen that then in the Conference League.
Yeah, probably halve it again for the conference, yeah.
But the point I'm making, Philip, right, and you said it earlier about, this is when the point I'm trying to make when you said get rid of the Conference League. €300,000 for a small club, say in Gibraltar, right? Okay, that 300,000 gives them a chance to do something good in their league. And this is where I think getting rid of the Conference League, I think you it's not a good idea.
Well, look at this thing to get to the qualifying, get to the group stages of the conference. I think is it 3 or 4 qualifying matches you have to play, right?
Yeah.
So the chances are a team from Gibraltar is not even going to make it that far.
Yeah, but
you're going to find it's mostly going to be the teams in the more established leagues. I take your point. I mean, this is what I'm saying is going to be hard financially on some clubs, all right. But I don't know. There's too many clubs, too many competitions, and I think St. Patrick's Athletic, Shamrock Rovers are the one Irish team that have got through to they're in the group stages of the conference this season, right? Yeah. St. Pat's narrowly got beaten last night. They almost made it. So from an Irish point of view, I'm happy that they're going to get their funding. But I'm going to jump on the government bandwagon here. The government should be supporting teams like that. They shouldn't have to rely on European money. You know how bad the facilities are at the Irish grounds here. You know, we really. Why should the government? We get the likes of St. Patrick's Athletic through. They couldn't even play the home games at their own stadium because it wasn't up to scratch.
Yeah, but why should the government then put money into soccer when our own governing body is corrupt as hell?
But they're two completely separate things. We've been crying out all last season for the government to do something about Irish soccer, right? They haven't done it. They've probably seen, Shamrock Rovers, they'll qualify for the Conference League. That gets them off somebody else's problem, not ours, you know? I mean, the fact we don't even have, there's not too many, there's one decent club ground in the whole country, and that's Tala.
Then that's down to the governing body.
That's what I'm saying. They pour millions into GA, right? But if you man for man, I'll use soccer here instead of football because soccer and football and GA football are different.
Yeah,
there is. I would say that the support for English League football in Ireland is nearly as big as support for the GA clubs here.
Well, it is, really. But. You made the point that the government should put money into soccer in this country.
Yeah, and training at the grassroots level. We've been arguing that all season.
Yeah,
they should be putting money into it.
If your own governing body cannot not even look after themselves, cannot even run their own organisation properly, that they're losing money in debt, in millions in debt, you can't expect a government to keep bailing out the same organisation all the time because they know it's just they're pouring money down a black hole.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, but
they don't even put it there. I mean, they'll give it to other. I'm not knocking other sports. Other sports, need support and everything, But I just feel that the money that's handed out for sport is ill divided. There should be a little bit more thought given to grassroots.
Yeah,
to bring the teams up to a standard that will be qualifying for European on a regular basis.
Yeah, and there should be, but look, for me, it should be down to a government to help a sport. The British government don't help the Premier League or the FA. I know it's totally different.
But they don't need to, Dermot. They don't need to because they're generating way more funds than the government's not going to get involved in a team that's taking in millions every year at the gate.
Yeah. So full well John Delaney screwed us over, and he screwed Irish soccer over for decades.
And we'll be paying for it for years.
And we've been paying for it for years since then. So I can't blame our government not putting money into soccer in this country when they think, well, if you can't run your own shop, then we're not going to help you. It's a bit like RTE, who's our national TV broadcaster over there. You look at the toy show thing and the fiasco over that, and how much money they pump in. It's
true. In fact, I hope the correction on this, but I think the FAI did approach the government for some subvention money, to keep things ticking and going. But I think the government turned them down. So we're on our own there. But again, I think we're never going to be at the level. Like, our teams are gonna, once in the blue moon, they're going to get through to the group stage. And well done, Shamrock Rovers, for doing it.
Yeah.
But they're the exception to the rule now. It'll be probably years before anyone does it again.
Yeah. Why don't the League of Ireland break away from the FAI? I think they should, but.
Well, they're kind of closely knit, aren't they? They're really one and the same. So,
Phil, who hosts the Para and Irish football? Is it the FA or the League? I think the League of Ireland.
The FAI and League of Ireland, they're pretty much one and the same, really.
Big up to Tequila as well. Big up, it says, say his name 3 times. He buys you a player. So we're here, under 18s only. He did say, leave it. Gary is saying, we won't the league, regardless of how hard we try. We can win 1 or 2 of the European, FA Cup or League Cup if we apply ourselves. Ange team selection on the first game.
That's it. That's a good point. I mean, I want to see 2 things here, right? I want to see the full strength 11 playing against Coventry. Be different if we're playing at home. It might make a bit of a But I don't want another Fulham. I don't want another Colchester.
No,
which we've had in recent years. I mean, that's not good enough. And I think Ange will know that. If he's reading the fans, he'll know to pick a strong team against Coventry.
Look, we're going to finish up now, Philip. Look, so the last thing I've got in this, how does it impact the future? Hang on, where is it? Oh, yeah. On whether how does this reflect with the fans who all come out and protested against the Super League back in the day? We've now got this new format of European football, which is like the Super League. Do you think the fans have been ignored? I think they have. And I think UEFA and I think FIFA need to listen to the fans, because we're the ones that, if nobody turned up to a football club, it wouldn't last very long. Sorry,
I don't think we've been ignored, Dermot. I think what they've done, they've been very clever here. This is like a Trojan horse. They've got the competition they want in through the door, disguising it as something else. And I think that's what happened here. Like, everyone has heard about this new format for the Champions League and the Europa League and the Conference League or whatever for maybe a year now, right? And there was never, I have not heard any real objections to it. People aren't saying, "Hang on a bit, this is Super League by another name." They basically pulled a fast one. They've got it in through the door. Now they've got the draw made now tonight, and it's all systems go. And it's up to the fans now whether they accept the new format. I think they will. Because there's going to be some very, very tasty games in that Champions League. It's going to be some massive games, and people are going to go. They're not going to boycott those games. They're going to go, and I think this will end up being more money in the bank for UEFA and more opportunities for them to roll the fans over with the next big idea. You're silent, Dermot.
We are on tomorrow, of course, at 11:45 with the Europa League draw. So we're going to bring you that live. And we're also on and off during the day with transfers. But we're on at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, all the way through to the close of business at 11 o'clock. So it's going to be a long evening tomorrow night for once truly. I think you're going to pop in and out, Philip, a few times.
I'll be around most of the time, I think, tomorrow. I think I've got the permission of the other half to do it, all right?
So we will bring you the latest. So tomorrow we're on at 11:45. Saturday we've got the pre-match show for Newcastle. Sunday, of course, we've got our 3 shows: Tottenham Team Talk, the Watch Along, and then post-match live after, where members can come on. This is the first time we're going to do this. If you're a member, you get to come on to talk to you about what the game is seeing. And then on Monday, Philip, we've got a humdinger of a show. do you want to tell people what it's about? Because I'm trying to look for it.
We're gonna be discussing if finishing top 4 is more important than winning a trophy.
Yeah.
You know, or the other way around, whatever way you want to look at it. You know.
Yeah.
Personally, I'll take both.
Yeah.
Top 4 and a trophy. Yeah.
Nice. Love Me, the Mega Drive. I think they're talking about it's in. It's the Super Asian Arcade. They're talking about games. Philip, look, I want to do something before we go. We've got a new intro music, and I want to play it. It's actually performed by one of our own. So we're not going to say who it is. I will tell you after this. It's the same intro, but the song's a bit different. So this is what it is. Whatever you do, we're going to play it, and then we'll end up there. So enjoy. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you tomorrow who it is. Let's see, can you guess? So me and Philip, we're back on our court the 12th, Philip, tomorrow for the draw.
Yep.
Back on tomorrow. Please enjoy yourself. Please like and subscribe. Pick up your memberships. Whatever you do, come on, these Spurs. In Big Ange, we trust.
White shirts on the pitch, running fast through the night. Every heart beating loud under floodlit sky bright. So to London, stand strong. In the stands they belong. Voices echo like thunder. To the club they sing along. Up in Spurs we arise. Eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. King's fire in his eyes. Glory's what he seeks. With every goal he flies. Rising to new peaks. From the lake to far and wide. With the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride. With our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise. Eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. From the lane to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey